Welcome to From the Heart, everyone. Thank you again for watching and supporting this channel. I'm going to just jump right into it. Master manipulators. It's very concerning. It's very concerning. And it's something I've dealt with personally, and I'm sure many of you have as well. One of my thoughts about it, though, is the motive behind it. Most of these people, in my experience, who are what I deem as master manipulators, they function in pride secretly, but publicly and openly, they have a certain humility about themselves. That's part of the deceit. That's part of the deceit because, of course, they want to be revered as someone who has good qualities, right? Because they like praise, they seek prestige, they want to maintain prestige, they want to maintain this persona that is false. And again, behind closed doors in secret, they are some of the most manipulative and deceitful frauds there are. They don't have regard for people as they portray that they do. There's no way. There's no way that someone who has the true love of God would have this sort of craftiness to people behind closed doors or up front. I'm not talking about making a mistake. I'm not talking about someone, this is their character. This is a long-standing characteristic of a person. This is repetitive behavior. It's repetitious. It's patterns with probably several different people. So I'm not sure why, oftentimes, we get caught up in these situations where we fall victim to these people. And because they are seemingly revered in the public eye or in more open spaces as someone who should be respected, we fall back on our pursuits of truth as to what's really going on. But I'm here to tell you, because I don't fear man, I don't fear death, and I don't fear any threats or any ill will towards me. I do fear God, however, because when I stack up eternity to the short life we have here, it really doesn't matter if I live or die, as long as I'm doing the will of God while I'm here. So I can't be threatened with, negativity, arrows flying. That's okay. Those will be blocked anyway. But it's a very dangerous thing when we begin to accept people in high places, knowing that this is what they are. Like, I don't understand why we allow it in our homes, I don't understand why we don't say what it is. It's almost like we're taught to be fearful to call out truth. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. If I'm appointed to speak on something, that's what I'm going to do. If I'm appointed to speak against something, that's what I'm going to do. Without the fear of man's judgment, that's just not going to work for me anymore. Someone who's faced the things I've faced, who's went through the things I've went through, and I'm sure some of you know, because if we were all for truth, we'd all be seeing it this way. This is not personal. This is not personal. This is not speculation. It's a righteous indignation, however, and not so much for us, for those of us who speak truth. We've overcome it. It's for others. It's for others who may not be given the same strength that God gives us to be able to face these things, but rather it's going to set them up for destruction. It's for those who can't fight for themselves. It's for those who who don't have a voice or who fear to speak. We need to stop playing games. We need to stop playing games with the people of God, and we need to stop playing games with ourselves. Again, it's public humility and secret pride. Because the truth of it is, if the reality was the person is who they are, they're going to be the same behind closed doors as well as they are in front of everyone, for the most part, give or take some obvious things. But if you are strategically manipulating people behind the scenes in a covert kind of way, in a prideful kind of way, your goal is ultimately to bring this person down and destroy them, bring them to their knees, and then sit in your high places as if you are, you know, exempt from judgment. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Not for it's dangerous for the people who has to deal with it, but it's dangerous for that person. But of course, they don't. It means nothing to them that this is true because they don't really fear God. They think it's a joke. They think it's a joke. I've heard somebody in a certain place refer to an area as a stage. We can do what we want to do with that, but because I know what kind of things they let come out of their mouth, it sounds like to me you're acting. Very well, you said a stage because you're an actor. You're not real. It's phony. And I know this because I learned you behind the scenes. The very people who may be protecting you are the very ones you speak ill of. You don't even care about them. And maybe it's known, maybe it is. But I question, because of the damage it can do in any organization, why is it allowed? This spirit of deception, the spirit, this Jezebel spirit, why is it thriving? Why are we not rooting that up out of there? That's what it comes to do, to break relationships up, churches, marriages. It's operating through people, but we ignore it. No, we just need to. No, we can't be playing with no stuff like that. That's why things fall apart, because we don't address these matters, because we want. We're not talking about forgiving and all that stuff. Yeah, we're going to do that anyway, but we have to deal with the issues at hand. We have to cast out these things that are tearing these places and these relationships apart. We have to first identify it, and then we have to call it what it is, and we can't sugarcoat it, because we can forgive, and yet and that's what they thrive on, the truth of the believer's ability to forgive and really do the things as the word of God speaks. But of course, this gives them a chance to go in again, because they don't really have any fear of God. Isn't it obvious? They're pretending. How can we not see that? I know we some pretty well adjusted, wise people. A lot of us, if we want to see it, but we look over it, we sweep it under the rug. And it's steady operating. It's steady growing in strength because we keep allowing it to get away with the same thing over and over. And I know it's not flesh and blood we're wrestling with, but it's operating through flesh and blood. Those are just my thoughts. And not only my thoughts, my experience, my observation, and a word that God has given me to speak. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.